Brexit: Britain can lead the world by scrapping non-tariff barriers to trade with the European Union, an expert says. From next year, all EU goods destined for the UK's market will need to be certified with a new regulatory customs mark in recognition of Britain's regulatory independence from the bloc. A report published by free market think tank the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, is calling on the government to act in the interest of consumers and prevent costly regulatory barriers to trade being imposed. The report won the backing of Jacob Rees-Mogg MP, Minister of State for Brexit Opportunities, who said, "Anyone who believes in free trade will welcome this report. Non-tariff barriers are the delight of protectionists and should be removed wherever possible." After Brexit, the EU refused to continue mutual recognition of UK regulations under the Trade and Cooperation Agreement. However, to help traders for a transitional period, the UK continued to recognise EU rules and the bloc's CE mark, which shows conformity to them. This is due to come to an end in 2023, meaning all goods for the UK market will need to be certified with the new UK mark to show they comply with mandatory standards. But the IEA paper warns the change will introduce duplication and costs for businesses trading in both the British and EU markets. As a way of avoiding such a scenario, the paper argues that Britain should unilaterally recognise EU rules even if the bloc refuses to reciprocate. However, critics warn that unilaterally recognising EU rules could have a Trojan horse effect, potentially risking unsafe or poor quality goods from the rest of the world entering the UK market. Victoria Hewson, head of regulatory affairs at the IEA, speaking to express.co.uk, hailed the benefits of the approach. She said, "There is such a big opportunity for the UK to show leadership here. We are not talking about a free-for-all where there are no more rules. This would be based on looking closely at the rules in a particular country. We could say, yes, those rules provide an equivalent level of safety, so come in." On the bloc's prior refusal to recognise the UK, Ms. Hewson said, "It is unfair, and the EU is being totally unreasonable. We don't have to be unreasonable back." The EU now treats the UK as a third country. The irony is that countries like Canada and China have more recognition than we do because the EU went totally scorched earth on us. The EU won't mutually recognise regulatory standards, because it wants to use this as political leverage, originally to get us to stay in the single market, or, now, to get us back in. She argued that continued trading standards, surveillance of the UK market and requirements written into contracts could be among the measures protecting consumers from substandard goods. The author of the IEA report added that experts from UK bodies such as the Food Standards Agency, the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency and British Standards Institute could also be tasked with checking standards in other countries before access to Britain's market is granted. Dr. Peter Holmes from the University of Sussex's UK Trade Policy Observatory warned that needing to satisfy two conformity assessment marks would prove burdensome for companies which want to trade in the UK and EU markets. He warned that Mr. Rees-Mogg appeared to suggest that unilateral recognition could be extended universally. Dr. Holmes said, that somehow implies we are able to act on our own. But it would be the opposite. Accepting whatever the EU says is acceptable means we won't need to have any controls. But it does not give Britain control of anything. It just gives up. And it makes divergence completely pointless, above all if actual verification of compliance at the borders is to be postponed until 2025. He described the IEA paper's unilateral recognition recommendation as sensible if applied to European goods, but warned that opening the floodgates to all other countries could be extremely dangerous. Dr. Holmes added, the UK has, in my view sensibly, decided to remain a member of the European standards bodies CEN and CENELEC. This means it makes sense to freely accept goods made to these standards but not all goods made anywhere to different and possibly lower standards. Ms. Hewson argued that businesses could produce goods to a standard which satisfied both UK and EU standards. She acknowledged that doing so raises a question over the point of Britain's exit from the EU. Ms. Hewson said, the difference is if, for example, EU rules on medical devices turn out to be too bureaucratic, we could say this EU rule is suppressing innovation in healthcare, so we are going to reform it so it is easier for our manufacturers and scientists to make this product. She explained that manufacturers would be free to choose between making more innovative products or not, with consumers able to choose goods under the old CE mark or Britain's updated UK mark. The IEA says the policy should be adopted for all international trade where the rules of the exporting country meet UK standards, bolstering Britain's credentials as a free trading nation. Non-tariff measures, such as goods regulations and certification requirements, are as bad or, in some cases, worse barriers to international trade than tariffs are, the think tank argues. The report includes an estimate that non-tariff barriers have been equivalent to a tariff of up to 20% on some goods. It is understood tension exists in the government between supporters of unilateral recognition and those who want to use recognition as a bargaining chip in future trade talks with the EU. But Ms. Hewson said the approach has garnered support from British businesses worried about having to pay hundreds of millions in extra costs to meet EU and UK requirements. She added, it would be world-leading and it would prioritize consumers at this time of cost of living challenges.